grow. We're going to show you the numbers behind Ashral's Facebook gaming account, show you his test when he switched games. Sneak preview, when you switch games, it's real bad. So what should you do if you want to play, say, more than one game on your live streams for the rest of your life? All those answers right here on this episode of the Digital Drop Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io? All right, poll time for all of our viewers out there watching live and on the replay, and for Ross and Perrin. First, I'm going to kick it over to Ross. Ross, do you want to play one video game for the rest of your life?
No, I barely play one video game a week. Why do you ask, sir?
I ask because the algorithm on Facebook Gaming could punish you if you want to play more than one. Perrin, do you want to just play Mobile Legends for the rest of your life on Facebook Gaming and never play anything ever again? Cyberpunk? No way. You can't play that.
I mean, I do love me some Mobile Legends, but I have a feeling at some point I'd like to do something a little bit different. If the algorithm gods will let me, maybe I have to pray and give them a sacrifice.
Well, why don't you give us a little bit of insight in terms of, before we all kind of talk about overall strategy and options here for streamers, of going exclusive on one platform, exclusive with one game versus variety streaming. You literally just this holiday weekend, the Halloween weekend, tested once again variety streaming. You doing themed horror games, what have you, right, on your channel. Let's talk about you, talk about your numbers, and just literally look at the actual impact of switching off your main game, Mobile Legends, and moving to other games. How did that impact you in terms of the algorithm? And do you feel like that's viable moving forward?
So the test was, I did a short 2-hour Halloween stream, actually the day before Halloween. And I'd streamed Dead by Daylight. And I have the numbers up here. You can see it's my last stream that I've done, actually. And so before I had done tests where I tried different games for a consistent length for multiple streams during the week for more than the 80-20 rule. This time I wanted to fit the change within the 80-20 rule to see, hey, does the 80-20 rule hold up in the Facebook gaming algorithm?
And what is the 80-20 rule for new viewers? What is that again?
For new viewers, the 80-20 rule is you're doing the thing that works for you consistently 80% of the time. And then 20% of the time you're doing something new, that you're trying something new to see if you can get better traction with that, or to see if you can get some better results, or to just mix things up a little bit to keep you fresh. But the idea is you're trying something new to see if you find your thing, you find something that sticks, because you constantly want to be throwing things against the wall in some way to see if you get more traction than what you're doing currently. But if you ruin that 80%, you ruin what's working now, then you destroy your whole channel, theoretically speaking. So
I don't think it's just theory, dude. Like, looking at your numbers here, man, what you just told me a minute ago, that ain't theory. That's fact.
Yeah,
like,
that's
show.
Fact. Yeah. So minus 9.5 times lower than my other posts within 3 days of publishing. 14.6 times less 1 minute views. I think by the end of the 2 hours, I had 3 people watching. And this wasn't like a non-entertaining stream. This was pretty entertaining because I was getting like spooked. It was, on Twitch, I did fine. Twitch, I had like my normal viewership. Twitch, nothing bad happened by me switching to this game. It was just, though I had just swapped to another game and they were just the same thing. But if you look, my average, view numbers on some of these, like I had a stream earlier in the week, it got 22,000 views, 2,000, 5,000. I'm normally at least hitting 1,000 views. This one got 452.
That is ridiculous, man. I mean,
I'm
come
interested
on.
to see how the algorithm treats me this week after having hit that really, really low point. That's probably the worst stream I've done on Facebook Gaming for a couple of months with that. So, yeah, even if you're within the 80-20 rule, I don't think you can swap games on Facebook Gaming. You're just not going to get good results. Now, what I'll have to see here is, will the algorithm take me back now afterwards? Will it bring me back to my previous level? How much damage will this have done to my average, kind of channel views that Facebook Gaming is considering my page to have? I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't look good. So if you guys were me here, Ross, if you were me, how would you proceed knowing this information? Do I just play Mobile Legends now forever on this page?
it makes it really difficult, because if you're going to stay on Facebook gaming as of right now on November 2nd, 2020, yes, you're going to have to play just one game, which sounds awful. And this also brings up good questions about, like, how do you approach this from a restream strategy? How does this, when you're trying to restream on Facebook, you can only do one game, but you may have different luck on a different platform. Facebook's gaming algorithm does not make this simple on anyone. But I am curious to see what your numbers are this week after this last stream, though. I think that's going to be it's going to be very telling.
I have some ideas for you. I mean, so I'm just so intrigued, Perrin, by what you've said in recent episodes. I was pro algorithm forever until now, actually, when it comes to live streaming. I was thinking, if a platform doesn't have an algorithm to help you get discovered, then it's a bad platform to stream on, right? But in this case, and in any case with any streamer, you cannot play one game forever. Even the top guys out there don't play one game forever. And this puts you in a terrible spot as a streamer, and it basically sets you up for long-term guaranteed failure, essentially, if you really think about it. If Facebook Gaming's algorithm is going to require you to build an audience with one game, which, by the way, it still has magical growth. For people that want to play one game, they get from 0 to thousands of followers. We get DMs all day about that. People that do the strategy we talked about on the podcast, play one game, grow to thousands of followers. But long term, you aren't going to be playing that game. You're going to want to play something else. And when you switch games, like we saw here in these numbers that Perrin just showed a moment ago, that transition is absolutely devastating. He got literally decimated, like 1/10 of his reach when he attempted to play another game. So what does that mean? To me, that means there is no long-term future for anyone on Facebook Gaming that wants to play more than one game as it stands right now. Now, you might be saying, what about Darkness 429? What about these other guys that are really, really big on Facebook, Stone Mountain 64. What about the huge guys? Well, the huge guys fall into one of two categories. Here's Darkness right now. They're like Darkness, where they're one of the top guys on the entire platform. And so they're soaking up all of the suggested from the entire platform, like you've been talking about, and boosting their viewership as a result, and also getting hosted because they're one of the top streams on the platform, and that's keeping their stream alive. That's category one of streamers on the platform. Category two of big streamers on the platform is they are a one-game streamer. And these are the types of streamers that are like, the PUBG Mobile guys, the Call of Duty Mobile exclusive guys, the Mobile Legends exclusive guys. Those are the only two categories of big streamers that I have seen on Facebook Gaming. So when the one-game guys want to go do something else, they can't. They can switch from PUBG Mobile over to Cyberpunk 2077, let's say, for example, and they'll probably literally get decimated when they attempt to do that. So for me, this is really alarming when it comes to the Facebook Gaming platform overall because of the way its rolling view algorithm works. And to me, it's seeming less viable as a long-term option for streamers, and it's seeming more like a land grab of viewers that you need to siphon to another platform. To me, that's where the strategy is kind of going right now, Perrin. And this is what I would recommend to you. Mm-hmm. I would recommend to you, Perrin, that you build a YouTube channel in particular for a video game. So whether that's Mobile Legends or some kind of other game, and you start focusing a lot more of your time on building that YouTube channel, because that YouTube channel will give you views 24/7, 365 for years from now. And you can start building that audience. And your audience that you're acquiring on Facebook that loves you, have them go subscribe to that YouTube channel and have them go follow you on the other social avenues. And I'd recommend juicing out Facebook Gaming for all of the free algorithm growth that's there today without thinking about it as a long-term play. Because as it stands right now, I don't see how it could be long-term for anyone unless you're one of the top 5 guys in your language. That's the way I see it right now. Maybe I'm being too doom and gloom. Maybe I'm being too black and white. But it just seems like it punishes you way too hard for switching games. And you mentioned that Twitch is an algorithmless platform. Well, algorithmless platforms are pretty darn appealing when it means that you can play something else and not lose 90%, 80%, 70% of your audience. So that's where I stand with it right now. It's somewhere to siphon viewers from, but not a platform that looks like it has long-term potential at the moment. What are your thoughts on that? I just dropped a pretty big bomb there on Facebook. Yeah. So what do you think about that sort of logic, that sort of argument and perspective?
I mean, that fits with the tests that I've done and the conclusions that I've gotten. So first of all, let's I have Darkness429 up here. Darkness429, make no mistake, is a one-game streamer. He's streaming Call of Duty Warzone right now. He's going to be streaming Call of Duty Warzone 2 years from now. He has 2.1K viewers right now. He used to have more. Guess why he doesn't? He started streaming some other games. He went sub 1K concurrent viewers. He went down to 900, 800, 700 by streaming those other games. Guess why he's back to Call of Duty Warzone now? Because he was dipping down too low for comfort. He was becoming far more of a low, medium tier streamer instead of the number one talent that he's supposed to be on this platform. He's a one-game streamer. So is Stone Mountain. He's also a one-game streamer. Almost all of the big streamers on Facebook Gaming are going to be stuck forever to that game. Now, there's a way out, but you're not going to like it. There's a way out just on Facebook. So
tell us the way out. What is the path? Like, okay, let's talk about the positive way to get out of this one game trap, because it really does sound terrible. Like, you get into it because you love it, and then you're stuck doing something you used to love and now you hate it. That's a nightmare.
Yeah. So this way, if you're just looking at Facebook Gaming, let's not get into multi-streaming for a second, because multi-streaming brings more options to escape. If you're just looking at Facebook Gaming, you can get out by streaming your other game to a new page. You make multiple pages, one page per game, which that could work. It could work if you know how to make successful Facebook pages, and if you think about Facebook Gaming as though I'm making a successful page, and it doesn't necessarily need to be all live content. You supplement with other video content on there as well, memes or whatever, then you can build multiple pages for your multiple games, and you should be okay. Now I'd have to test that a little bit, but just knowing what I know about making a successful Facebook page, that should work. And then you're not treading on the algorithm on each page, and you're servicing it the way it needs to. The problem is that spreads your growth pretty thin. You're not focusing it all into one destination. So that's why I said that's a way out, but you're not going to like it because it requires a lot more work. The other way out is to multi-stream. And I found exactly what you're talking about, AWOL. Siphon the growth from Facebook Gaming. Definitely use Facebook Gaming as an opportunity to get your content out there in front of new eyeballs, but entice them to come to other platforms. In fact, I found that I haven't even had to entice users to come to other platforms. They come organically to other platforms because they get tired of Facebook Gaming for a multitude of reasons. And mostly they come to YouTube, and mostly they come to Twitch. And because of that, now on Twitch, I have a decent sized concurrent viewership. I've gone from having 3 concurrent viewers in the past 4 months to having about 20 or so average concurrents. I go up to like 30, 35, which doesn't sound crazy, but technically that's in the top 5% of Twitch streamers. So it's actually pretty damn good. So, and when I multi-streamed Dead by Daylight, which is a game my audience has never seen me play, but they were asking me to play. My fans were asking me to play this game. They actually voted on it as well.
I watched your stream. It was super entertaining, man. Like it was a very good Halloween stream.
And I had a lot of fun streaming it, so I knew it would be good, because anytime I have a lot of fun, I have a lot more energy, and I generally like those streams more. I had 17 to 20 concurrent viewers, and that was in my morning block, which is normally my weaker block, and that's right in my average. So I changed games on Twitch, and I didn't even go away from my average. But Facebook, I actually ended the Facebook stream before I ended my whole stream. I ended it like half an hour early because it was just down to 2 concurrent viewers. Oh. And I realized I should just never have turned Facebook on to begin with, but I did so because I wanted specifically to talk about this test. I wanted to do this test.
Thank you for taking the hit for the team there, Perrin.
Yeah. Now, I want to see how it's going to affect. We'll see how it'll affect my algorithm going forward. But so the story is, you talked about Twitch not having algorithm, and I started liking the fact that Twitch doesn't have an algorithm. And I know we've kind of crapped on Twitch. We even have an episode that's called Let's Shit on Twitch lately because of some of the moves that they've been making, etc. But Twitch, one of the reasons Twitch works is because there's no algorithm. you can be creative on how to succeed on the platform, and you can succeed in ways that no one else has thought of before. And you can make it big there by doing so. So you can kind of game Twitch by being unique. You can't do that on any other platform that has an algorithm, because you have to fulfill the algorithm's needs, which means you specifically can't be unique. You have to do specific steps a specific way to be top in the algorithm. So there's a difference. One is fostering creative problem solving. The other one is not, right? So for that reason, I think Twitch is good. Twitch culture, Twitch viewers tend to be more in tune with watching a variety of games as well. Whereas Facebook, most viewers are there to watch the game specifically, not you. The community hasn't gotten into like a variety stream approach, and I don't see how it gets there at this point with the way that the algorithm works. I just don't see it. So will Facebook gaming have a long-term play? It's going to be interesting. You know, once these top games on Facebook gaming die down, I don't know. You know, once PUBG Mobile, which by the way, these games have not changed in the top spot for as long as I've been watching this. These have been the top 5 games. PUBG Mobile, Mobile Legends, Free Fire, Grand Theft Auto 5, Arena, Valor. Also, Call of Duty Mobile.
These are the kings of international mobile gaming, so they'll probably stay there for quite a long time. Ross, what do you got, man?
Yeah, well, we got a comment in here from Gavin. He's just tossing an idea out there. He said, if you continue to use your 80-20 rule, but create and post clips from your 20% stream more often and get the reach and views on those clips, will the algorithm actually learn that it's making an impact on your followers, especially if you tag the game?
No, I mean, it's still going to drop your average. What it will notice, let's go back here to distribution. And this is under, again, in Facebook Creator Studio. You can find this by going to Creator Studio, Content Library, to your posts. Look at the distribution. If you hover over, it says minus 9.5 times. No matter what type of other content you post, if it does more poorly than your average, and notice it has an average. It's saying, you know, for this one giveaway event I did, plus 1.1 times average. Facebook Gaming's algorithm is clear, and they're clearly telling you it has an idea of what your average is. Anytime you post something that brings you less than that average, it's going to knock you down, and it's going to say, okay, well, do we have to bring the average lower now? Let's bring the average lower now. So that means the distribution now is going to be lower across the board. Anytime on Facebook Gaming you post something that is less successful than your average, you're hurting yourself in the algorithm. You have to be posting stuff that's average or better every time, which means you can never actually ever post something that is not from the game that you mainly stream, because it will never do as well. It just won't. I built up fans on Mobile Legends. There's no way I'm going to post any other game and have it do better, except for maybe Wild Rift, because almost all Mobile Legends players also care about Wild Rift. But that's a test I'll hope to get to soon. We'll see on that one. I bet you even that still won't work. That probably won't work either. So just remember, anytime you post something that gets less traction than your average, you're hurting your page. You're bringing it down. And what the example that our chatter here is talking about, yeah, that would hurt you. That would hurt you. Even if you could instead of building up, you know, Facebook's algorithm's idea of that game, you'd actually be dropping their idea of your page as a whole. You're not building up your idea of that game. You're just dropping your average down to where that game is, and maybe somewhere like above or in between. So are you okay with taking, you know, where you're at now and dropping it permanently to a lower level just to average out for another game? Maybe you could do that. I mean, maybe you could get away with that and then work at that lower point as your new average and try to build off of there. Possibly.
It just doesn't sound like that's really going to build from there. Ross,
Yes.
Perrin mentioned a moment ago, obviously restreaming is the strategy here. If you want to siphon the viewers from Facebook Gaming to a platform that doesn't have an algorithm, such as Twitch, or getting them to come over to YouTube, diversifying platforms. As always, it always comes back around to this on the Digital Drop podcast. Restreaming is the solution whenever you're having algorithm problems. So tell our viewers about how they can get a discount, and drop that link on them really quick so that they can use what the strategy Perrin used, where he's restreaming, he's taking those Facebook viewers, they're just naturally coming over to Twitch, they're naturally coming over to YouTube. They're also converting into people that will drop subs on him and donations on him over on other platforms as well. It's a solution to this issue for all of our Facebook gaming streamers out there.
It is. It opens you up to a variety of platforms, and that way you're not just stuck on one. I just dropped the link in the comments. You can also find it in the video description. You can use Drop One, get a little money off your first month of Restream. You know, you don't need to be focusing on one platform when you can literally be focusing on growing on every single platform with just a click of a button. You know, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, gaming, Trovo, DLive, Periscope, so many other platforms that you may not have even heard of. You can be growing on those right now by using Restream. We're doing it right now on this podcast, and you should too. So when you sign up, use code DROP1 or click the link in the bio and make the best decision you've ever made in your streaming career.
Wow, that was quite the endorsement. They literally pay us money to say that. Okay, so we are sponsored by Restream, just to make that clear. Okay, so I want to talk real quick. So we always talk about freaking Restream around here, right? But I want to talk about the classic strategy, which is just building a YouTube channel, doing an avenue that's like longer form content, like a YouTube channel, having one social media avenue that's like shorter form content, like a Twitter or a TikTok or an Instagram, and just building those two avenues as a way to direct traffic to wherever your live stream is. This is the classic live stream growth strategy. And this strategy is still viable today, as most big streamers got big using that strategy. So I want to remind everyone that Facebook gaming's algorithm, despite all the issues that we're talking about today of being punished for streaming more than one game on the platform, you have to put a strategy in place where you're building a YouTube channel, mandatory. And you have to, and if you can, put a strategy in place where you're building one short form content platform, social media avenue, whichever one is most applicable or your favorite. In most cases, for gaming content creators, it's a YouTube channel plus a Twitter account plus a streaming platform. Those are usually the big three. And your YouTube channel, you're going to want to make very searchable content, generally speaking, educational content, to build audiences, to get viewers on that YouTube channel to come over to your live stream. And so what you're going to do, let's say you're doing Mobile Legends content like Perrin. What I would recommend to Perrin if I was coaching Perrin is I would be doing research on Mobile Legends. I'd go find all those topics that there are old videos about, guide videos primarily, or heroes that are undercovered and things like that. And I would tell Perrin to make a how to win more games with this hero, how to win more games with that hero, top 5 tips for beginner players in Mobile Legends, how to go from this rank to master or legendary or whatever the hell the top tier thing is in Mobile Legends. And I would coach Andrew Perrin, Astral, to make those searchable YouTube videos. And every one of those YouTube videos, in the middle or toward the end of the video, you tell all your viewers, and I'm live every single, these dates and these times, every single week, link in the description below if you want to come join me live while I'm playing this game. And so that YouTube channel is going to grow from thousands of views to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and if you do it right, millions eventually, 24/7 promotion for your live stream running through YouTube's algorithm. That is the best algorithm on planet Earth for free traction. And that channel will basically be like a sun, if you will, with nuclear fusion going inside of it that never ends and never stops promoting you. No matter what happens on these other algorithms, that one is going to continue to juice your success and continue to drive viewers over to you. So I want to remind all of you, no matter what happens with algorithm shifts on all these platforms, building a gaming YouTube channel is still the #1 way to build an audience and drive traffic to any other platform. So if you combine that YouTube channel plus one short form social media platform plus streaming strategy with restreaming, what we've been telling you about this whole time, you are as diversified as humanly possible. You are growing to the maximum extent you possibly can as a small streamer. And that is the optimal strategy right now. It keeps emerging as the optimal strategy. Now, when it comes to really quick, I know we're running out of time here, and Perrin's got to go live here in a minute because Ashl's got to go live because he's so famous on Facebook Gaming. But Ross, can you give For folks, YouTube, we can do whole episodes on that later. For people that are looking to do Twitter in particular, for gaming accounts on Twitter, can you give them some inspiration, some quick ideas on what you can do with your gaming Twitter account to engage viewers, to build an audience, and then eventually, of course, to drive them over to what you're doing with live streaming? What can they do today? Just a couple quick actions they can do today to build that short form content game that they need for the long term.
All right. First off, post content. Post a lot of content with all the information right up front. Take clips from your stream. Don't include any links in there. Give them all the entertainment right up front so they don't have to click anywhere and go see it. Because if they don't know who you are, they're not going to click it. The second tip, and probably the most important one, is proactively engage. This is something that Perrin and I, well, all three of us actually talked about last week, and it's going to be an experiment that I'm going to start working on, is how to create engagement with other streamers and stuff like that by actually going to their tweets and actually starting conversations with not only them, but other people who are engaging with them as well. You have to be proactive. You can't expect your audience, to just find you out of the blue. You have to go and create that audience. And social media is a great way to do that, especially Twitter, because you can just hop into the middle of a conversation anywhere. And don't use that to promote yourself. Use that to establish a relationship. Don't go on some streamer's feed when they're talking about, or on a clip that they posted, and say, hey, well, here's my stream over here. Don't do that. That's tacky, and they're just going to block you because it's not even effective, honestly. Establish a relationship with people. When you're just starting off or when you're trying to grow, you have to build that relationship with each individual person. There is no button that you can press that makes all these people come and automatically like you. It's a one by one quest, and you have to do that on something like Twitter. You can also do it on Instagram. Twitter is just the easiest. So yes, post clips with everything right up front for Twitter. Nothing else in there except maybe some copy, no links or anything like that. And second, be proactive in engaging with other streamers and their audience on Twitter.
We can do a video to explain it. And do you mind pulling up my website on the screen real quick? Because we're going to end this one and we will talk more about social media strategy and YouTube strategy to build those avenues to drive over to Facebook gaming or other streaming platforms. And if you would like me to coach you one-on-one on how to get this done, go to awaldigital.com. You can literally go to my website, click the schedule. God, look at all those arrows. Click the schedule one-on-one coaching button right there. You select your day, you select your time, and I'll work with you one-on-one on a call to help you grow. Just wrapped up a call this weekend with a 1 million follower Pokemon YouTuber, helping him grow his online business, all the way to somebody who's just trying to start up a kids channel this weekend. It was really cool to do those coaching calls, and I'm here to help you. awall digital.com. One-on-one coaching is available there. See you in the next episode.